There wasn't good vibes with Zelenskyy and our president,
no,
vice
we
president.
watched it all unfold on national television Friday.
Normally we get a readout on this,
right.
but this time we saw it all before our eyes.
Yeah, right. If you were watching,
delayed.
If you were watching Outnumbered, you saw the live playback of the video.
And you were on Outnumbered.
I was indeed. I was the one lucky guy. Well, Zelenskyy was the one unlucky guy on Friday there. You know, usually, and this kind of stuff does happen between presidents and world leaders behind closed doors. And then afterwards, the readout is, well, the two world leaders had a frank discussion, and they are, you know, they're united in finding a solution. Well, we saw that this relationship right there between the three of them is fractured. And Mr. Zelenskyy, tone deaf, going in and fighting back, getting sassy with the president and the vice president.
Sassy.
He was sassy. He got some bad advice from somebody, but it certainly was not the White House. They said, Mr. Zelenskyy, show up, wear a suit. Lindsey Graham said, whatever you do, don't get into an argument. So what does Zelenskyy do? He gets into an argument with Donald Trump and Mr. Vance, and suddenly Mr. Z is looking for Plan B.
Yeah, he was kicked out of the White House. He said, go home, go packing, because we're not giving you this deal, because Zelenskyy wanted security guarantees. And President Trump and J.D. Vance said, look, you have not been grateful. Look at what we've done. We've sent you weapons, we've sent you money, and you have to be grateful. And it was the beginning of what could be a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine.
I really think, and Brian, I want to get your thoughts on, I really thought he crossed the line when he implied a threat. When he said the ocean, you guys have the ocean separating you, but maybe not soon enough. And you saw the rage in the president at that point when he goes, you have no right to say that. You're in no position to tell us.
I thought when he said that, let Europe deal with it.
Yeah,
then.
right.
Let other people, let other countries give money.
But he also did one other thing that was extraordinary. Zelenskyy was lecturing past presidents. He said, look, Obama had the chance to stop it. Trump had the chance to stop it. So he's saying, hey, you didn't stop it, and look where we are. He said, and then Joe Biden didn't stop it. So he was sassy with the guy who he needed to bail him out on this minerals deal.
So on the couch, everyone was quiet except J.D. Vance, and Marco Rubio was sitting right in the middle as Secretary of State. He's the one who talked to the Russians in Saudi Arabia. He's the one who's going to be moving it up the ranks and maybe meeting with Lavrov again directly. Here's what he said was his take on what Zelenskyy did wrong.
I really am puzzled why anyone thinks that trying to be a peacemaker is a bad thing. It's only a bad thing when it's Donald Trump trying to do it. I would ask everybody this. If there are no negotiations, what is the alternative? Another 4 years of war, another 3 years of war, in which the United States and Europe continues to pour billions of dollars into a war in Ukraine? Is that the alternative? I've asked every foreign minister I meet with, tell me your idea of how this turns out. Most don't have a plan. A few have said, well, let's give them another year of fighting. A year from now, a year later, after another year of death, another year of destruction, then maybe Putin will be ready to negotiate at that point. No one here is claiming Vladimir Putin is going to get the Nobel Peace Prize this year, or that he should be the man of the year of the Humanitarian Association. What we're arguing here is he has a very large country. They're in full war footing. They're cranking out weapons now at a war footing pace. And we need to figure out, is there a way to get them to stop the war? And the only way you're going to do that is to get Russians engaged in negotiations.
Right.
Zelenskyy told the BBC that the minerals deal he is still ready to sign it.
Now he is.
Prime Minister Starmer of the UK said it would require, they worked over the weekend to try to come up with a peace plan. And he said that it would require strong U.S. backing. So his formal plan, he'll send it to the U.S. and work with Donald Trump, he said.
NATO had a summit without us, which is I don't think we were upset by it, but I'd rather not
helpful.
NATO meetings without us. That Europe put together a 4-step plan. They said to keep the military aid flowing to Ukraine is 1. Add lasting peace must ensure Ukraine's sovereignty and security. Number 3, in the event of a peace deal, European leaders will aim to deter any future invasion, which I assume they're committing to troops. And number 4, there'll be a coalition of the willing to defend Ukraine and guarantee peace in the country. In other words, they're not calling us out. If anyone characterizes the Europeans as being angry at us, I have not read anything about that, but they're saying we have to somehow understand the U.S. might not be aboard in Ukraine.
I think they're calling us out. I really do. I think that they're upset.
We're going to do it ourselves.
100%. Which, knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. If you want to do it by yourself. But again, all of this is virtue. All of the photos that were released, all of the meetings that were released, because at the end of the day, you have the ambassador from the UK that said, after all of saying all of that nonsense, said, oh, none of this happens without the support of the United States.
Well, here's ultimately what's going to happen. They had on paper the deal that was going to be signed. Whatever the magic number was, how many hundreds of billions of dollars worth of minerals the United States was going to get, Donald Trump just got a better deal because eventually we're going to sign it. But whatever that number was, say it was $200 billion, now it's 300 or 400. That's how Donald Trump works when it comes to negotiating. Hey, you blew it. You want to come back and talk to me? It's going to cost you.
Maybe, but I think in the big picture, think long term. Do we want another American ally being taken over by another country? If we pull out for a sustained period of time, we have to be prepared for Kyiv to fall into Vladimir Putin's hand, and that's not going to look any administration make him look good.